I mean, every pitcher, whether they miss a couple starts, 30, it doesn't matter. In the end, I base my opinion on where the team got to the to the playoffs, and if you have a guy that's able to get you to the postseason, that's another story.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of schools for thought and argument toward it, but as time goes on, I think the deciding factor why guys are winning it with fewer wins is because the managers are keeping them 6 innings, and then they're relying too much on the bullpen. But in this day and age, that's just how it goes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, DeGrom threw 200 innings for a second consecutive year, and the last metric I'll use to really define why I believe he deserves it. And look, he's going to win it. I don't think Ryu has a chance to win this award because he just wasn't he didn't pitch long enough to get enough consideration.
We'll see. You already told me that you think DeGrom.
But
I say Ryu, and we'll see what happens. So let's go on to the American League in a moment.
Sure. All right, so the last stat I'll throw at you is one called RA9. RA9 is runs allowed per 9 innings, and what it does is it takes into account every run that a pitcher has allowed, earned and unearned, and it factors it out and averages it out. It's like ERA, but with every run factored in. So the best RA9 of any pitcher in the National League in 2019 was DeGrom.
Okay, well that's fine. You can continue to come up with every stat in the world. Hit me. In the end, we'll find out. If you're right, you're right. It doesn't matter. If DeGrom wins, he wins another Cy Young award. It's just a feather in his cap in terms of where his career goes.
Mm-hmm.
If Scherzer ends up winning it, well, at least you know what? He was an intricate part of his team getting to the playoffs and subsequently winning the World Series. Ryu could be a victim of a team that made it to the playoffs but didn't get the job done. But we'll see what school of thought ends up becoming what it is. So we go to the American League now.
And when I win, you can buy me lunch. But that's
okay. Well, I do it anyway, so what's the difference?
And
every time I go ahead and win with some of our other predictions, pull out the credit card, pal.
All right. So the American League Cy Young candidates, obviously, we have Cole, Verlander, and Morton. If I had to pick, I think Verlander wins it. He has more innings pitched, obviously. And I think every factor other than the ERA, I mean, I like ERA, but at the same time, he pitched 20 more innings than Cole, so I think the fact that their ERAs are 0.08 of a run different doesn't matter that much to me. Verlander also has a lower RA9 than Cole. His 2.66 RA9 to Cole's 2.8, Morton a 3.28. But the biggest thing is the opponent slash line, but I'll get to that in a second. In your opinion, who do you think's going to win it? And
I already know my opinion is Justin Verlander gets another no-hitter. He's been playing in that Houston ballpark for a few years, and he's able to win despite being in that ballpark. Morton is a nice heart candidate. Okay, you'd like to see it happen, but not gonna. And Cole, well, all I can say is whether or not he wins the Cy Young or not, he's getting paid a lot of money.
He is. Yeah, he is. Man.
And he may have to wait till January to get it whenever he's ready to do it. He's got all three of these guys are making a healthy living.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Verlander hands down.
And another stat I'm going to throw out there that I love, Verlander's the opponent OPS. We can talk about home runs and the fact that Verlander may get hurt a little because he gave up 36 home runs. The opponent OPS, Scott, for him and Cole is identical. It's 579. Also, the fact that hitters this season against Verlander hit 172. You want to know how good that is? That's the fourth lowest such mark ever in a single season. That trails only Louis Tiant in 1968, Pedro Martinez in 2000, who has the best such mark. They hit 167 off him that year, and 1972's Nolan Ryan. So Verlander is an easy pick. It's going to be very interesting. It'll be a tug of war, but I think he winds up getting the Cy Young Award.
Yeah, I do too. So I'm not going to waste my voice on this. Remember, we have another edition of Sports Exchange tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And you want to talk about a couple of trades before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, so we'll go real quick on this one, and we'll only mention two of the names here that we had three written down originally. So there's been some talk around baseball, and this has actually been prevailing since about July, that the Red Sox aren't going to be able to sign Mookie Betts to an extension, which kind of hurts because even if I'm not a Red Sox fan, my dad's a Yankee fan, whatever. Betts is the cornerstone to that franchise, along with the likes of Xander Bogaerts and now Rafael Devers. He's the best player on that team. He does everything offensively, defensively. He's one of the best defenders in right field. He's a plus defender in center field. With Chaim Bloom coming from, the new general manager of the Red Sox, coming from a market in Tampa where he doesn't have the financial wherewithal to now maybe have this ability to offer Mookie Betts an extension, which I think he should give him something in the range of 10 years for $350 million. If Betts turns that down, you have no other option but to really just to explore, trading him and get some value back, get some future major league value back. And they do have a name. His name is Jaron. What is it right here? Yeah, his name is Jaron Durham, right fielder out of Long Beach State.
Well, the one thing you have to understand about the Red Sox is they have a depleted farm system. Dave Dombrowski did his regular gut the farm system to win now. Got him a world championship. How far it sets him back?
He was a puppet.
That's another story. Don't get me wrong. I'll tell you what. Dave Dombrowski has won everywhere, and there's a sign of the times that the Boston Red Sox do not want to pay him that luxury tax, and they can be set away. So it's a matter of long-term gratification versus instant gratification, and we've seen that scenario so many times with a lot of different organizations. Not only that he's been around, but other organizations as well that will take our lumps for a while, get there, sign our core, and that's nowadays become one of the latest trends in baseball.
Yeah.
But, the guy does have better resources than Tampa. Then again, it doesn't take much to do that.
Yeah. So on Darren with Jaron Darren for the Red Sox, he is a right fielder like Betts. I mean, he had a very good year. He split time between Advanced A and Double A. He hit .303 and he stole 46 bases. He actually also had an on base of .367. He's not going to hit for the power that Betts will, but if you go to Boston, it's a ballpark that obviously short, pesky pole in right field, 302 feet. It's going to allow for a little bit more power. As far as the teams that could be in on Betts, and let me know what you think of these, we have the Atlanta Braves. I think are a dark horse. They have one of the best farm systems in baseball. The Red Sox have the worst, actually. By post-2019 draft, they ranked 30th of 30 teams, but that's just a product of Dombrowski.
All right, okay.
So, but the Braves could make a good push for him. They did re-sign Nick Markakis, and they also have Austin Riley, who can play left field and third base. But if the Red Sox can maybe, in a package, get one of those big pitching prospects, maybe a Kyle Wright from the Braves, and, throw in an Austin Riley to play right field for you, that would be an intriguing idea, but they're not going to get 100 cents on the dollar for Betts just because he only has 1 year of club control left. One option I thought was fascinating was the New York Mets. The New York Mets have a vacancy in center field now with Juan Lagares gone. Betts has been a plus defender in center when he's played it in the past. He'd be a rental, but it's New York. He's not stranger to a big market like Boston. They can play Nito, they can play Brandon Nimmo in right, and obviously you have Conforto in left, or, flip-flop those guys around. But I think the team, lastly, on Betts that makes the most sense is the St. Louis Cardinals. And the only reason I say that is that Dexter Fowler is not a plus defender.
Right.
Marcell Ozuna is a free agent after the season. I believe they have 2 more years of Fowler left. But the thing is, here, they've done this before where they've traded for a big-name outfielder, particularly a corner guy like Betts. They did it with Jason Hayward in 2015, and Jason Hayward had a great season, a .359 on base for that Cardinals team that won 100 games. But, look, they're going to have to find a buyer for him. I know that. But I think St. Louis may be the team that makes the most sense. You can always move Fowler to left, or you can, move someone over.
When you judge trades, the only way I judge them are based on the resources of the organization. St. Louis isn't afraid to spend the money. They've proven it. And again, they have lots of revenue streams coming in. So, everything just depends on the type of thing, to me, that I think it becomes a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I could see him. I don't see him going with the Mets. I don't. But anyways, one more trade you want to talk about?
Yeah, the last one I'm going to talk about, is Chris Bryant, obviously the Cubs star third baseman. I mean, you know what? He's still battling a shoulder injury that I think affected his season in 2019 in 3.6 WAR. But with Bryant, you're always going to get a lot of walks, and you're going to, obviously he's cut on his strikeout rate. But I think a team that really makes sense for him, and he's a free agent after 2021, is the Philadelphia Phillies. I really do like the idea of that, and I'll tell you why in just a few words. They've tried so long now for Michael Franco to be the answer at third base in Philadelphia, and it really hasn't worked. He's been a bad defender. He's, striking out too much. He doesn't get on base. I believe his OPS plus is below league average. It's sub 100. But he's a one-dimensional player that hits occasional power. And another reason why the connection could make sense is they don't have to pay him right away. They've got 2 years of club control with him, 20 and 21. But he also grew up in Las Vegas with Bryce Harper. And they play Little League together, and, they have a pretty good friendship that extends into the offseason. So If you throw him in a lineup, three guys with Harper, Rhys Hoskins, and Bryant, three guys that combined in 2019 to draw 289 walks, the Phillies are going to have to be, or pitching staffs opposing to them are going to have to pitch more to Harper. They're going to either have to pitch more to Bryant or they're going to have to pitch more to McCutchen. And those guys are guys that we've seen, they don't give in to a lot of bad pitches. So you're going to draw a lot of walks. That's going to help that lineup score a lot more runs. And I think it could propel them to a playoff spot next year. But, give me your thoughts on that idea.
All right, well, number one, Joe Girardi's a manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. He can manage good talent. There's only one team that makes sense to me, okay, and that's the Angels. Being reunited with Joe Madden. And, of course, you also have Mike Trout. You already talked about it. And how much more time does Pujols have? So
yeah.
I don't think either situation could be bad. I personally would love to see him being reunited with the Angels. And they have deep pockets out there so they can pay him there. And if you're saying he's a West Coast, Las Vegas, LA's not that far away. It's only like 4 hours away. So
yeah.
But that said, okay, that concludes this edition of 108 Stitches Baseball Talk. All right, you got an opportunity here about our introductory one, so to speak, our debut show. But feel free to go ahead and listen to us on Spreaker and Apple Podcasts, and we'll announce more as time goes on. But what a great opening act, Lewis. We're going to have a good time, and we look forward to more and more people getting into the program, as we were going to work very, very hard to make sure that you have great content. The only thing I'd say about Lewis is he is the sports editor for the South Florida Tribune, and he has the envious job of making sure he oversees the content that goes on the website. And we are determined at South Florida Tribune not only to provide you with the best content available, but the best programming as well. But great show. Looking forward to seeing the show grow as time goes on, Lewis. So I'm very proud of you. You do a good job preparing for everything, and I look forward to this being on the network for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. Good job, Lewis.
All right. Thanks, Scott. We'll see you guys soon.
All right. And tonight, just so you know, the Sports Exchange here in the South Florida Tribune Broadcasting Network begins at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. So for Louis Adio Weiss, my name is Scott Morganroth.
And, again, I'm Louis Adio Weiss. Love is just a diamond away. So we'll see you guys later.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any more diamonds in the rough on some of the shows we got to go. So good night, everybody.